Hey guys, haven't made a video in a while. Sorry about that. Just been super busy, and every time the opportunity came to make a video, it just really didn't work out. Today in Team Building View University, we're going to be going over actually so physical walls is going to be the aim of today. Alright, so let's just hop right into it. So let's just go like physical walls. Alright, so physical walls, at least in the OU tier, that's where I kind of focus on. But I might do a couple others. Physical walls are obviously Pokemon. Generally, you want reliable recovery as a prerequisite, and obviously a lot of physical bulk. So that means HP and defense stat, ideally. Physical walls tend to be more defensive Pokemon, obviously. Usually not dishing much damage, but sponging up attacks and healing off the damage for maybe a frailer sweeper or somebody who needs it, or to just wall a threat that otherwise might like counter your entire team and just run rampant. So if we're going through physical walls of the OU tier, Clefable is kind of a decent physical wall actually, can be, or a special wall, either way you play it with Unaware especially. Physically defensive Clefable is actually really great, kind of somehow kind of underrated, but also like at least seems like it is, but really just predominant like in terms of just once you try it out. But I'm not really going to go into that as much. So a really popular physical wall in the OU tier is actually Ferrothorn. So let's just dive right into it. Ferrothorn has really great defensive stats, really mixed actually. You could even invest into special defense and maybe survive the stray HP fire from like a Magnezone, but that doesn't really come in handy against Magnezone. But I guess HP fire from like maybe like a Manaphy running it or something, just like that. So physical walls, Iron Barbs is really great for a physical wall like Ferrothorn, just because it punishes attacks that are deal direct physical contact damage. So to supplement that, you could go with Rocky Helmet. I think between the two, the really biggest two options are like Rocky Helmet or Leftovers. Leftovers might give you a bit more survivability, while Rocky Helmet can really just like punish opponents who try to hit Ferrothorn. Essentially, if you can switch it on like maybe like a Landorus T, you turning out, Landorus T will lose pretty much like a quarter of its health or something, almost, even a little more. Yeah, a little more than that, just for using a U-turn that you resisted, or not resist, but you could easily eat up anyways. So I think Leech Seed is a pretty good staple on Ferrothorn. Protect is good. Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave is another option. This is a kind of popular set. This set's kind of beta taunt, and okay, with a physically defensive wall, this is a pretty standard spread right here. The physically defensive, kind of just maximizing your bulk. Other options for offense, I like to use Gyro Ball a lot. Really punishes fairies, namely Mega Altaria. As long as it's not running Fire Blast, this really if it has DD'd up or anything that's really speed boosting up, this helps a lot with. Other options is Power Whip, which is kind of inaccurate. Has a little bit more PP than Gyro Ball, kind of inaccurate, but has a really good base power. And Ferrothorn doesn't actually have the worst stat attacks. Sorry, if we move this to special attack, actually. Ferrothorn doesn't have the worst attack stat ever. Like 94 is appreciable. Without investment, it kind of blows, but it makes it a decent like answer to especially defensive Rotom Wash per chance. Physically defensive Rotom Wash could still probably eat up that hit. But then another option is a nice knockoff. Just a really good utility move. Other options for hazard setting is like he gets spikes. Again, T-Wave is a great option. I think T-Learn's Toxic, which is another option. He actually has a really good move pool, but only a few of them are really that useful. Yeah, like nobody really would use Explosion or anything, but between like I think the set that I usually run is like this. This is my favorite set for him. He's a great reliable setter of rocks. Pokemon that are physical and special walls usually are great for support, so like hazard setting support is great. Alright, so yeah, Ferrothorn's, a real staple in the OU tier, has been since Black and White. If we keep looking at physical wall, I think Skarmory is one that stands out a lot. Skarmory, again, is a really useful hazard setter, but I think you really want to go with Leftovers. You could also do Shed Shell to escape Magnezone, or Rocky Helmet to punish physical attackers, because, I think Skarmory might actually even be slightly bulkier on the physical side than Ferrothorn, but maybe not. I'm not sure actually. And then I guess Roost is a great option. Leftovers, Leech Seed, plus leftovers would give Ferrothorn decent recovery, but it's not the best. Roost is pretty awesome recovery, and then Sturdy also makes sure you can survive one hit. And I think you might Spikes or Stealth Rocks is good. Maybe a Whirlwind. Brave Bird is a good attack, but it does break your Sturdy if you use it, which kind of sucks. But sometimes the Sturdy isn't the most useful thing ever. Anyways, other options. So yeah, Stealth Rock. You could maybe throw in a Toxic in there. Skarmory is also a very popular defogger, actually. And then I don't know why this spread is like this. I think this is an old black and white thing that isn't super useful anymore. It does outspeed something, but that's not really important anymore. 416 is just a massive defense stat. That thing can eat up hits. So as long as the only thing that really threatens Skarmory is like a powerful either fire, like powerful Fire Blast, or powerful Thunderbolts like Raikou, Charizard Y, Charizard X. Really strong physical wall breakers can still pose a threat. But it's mainly the special side. I know Specs and Scarf Keldeo with that Hydro Pump can dish out a lot of damage on Skarmory. But Skarmory really can eat up hits and then roost it off. And then with Toxic, you could do a pretty nice Toxic stall. Another really popular one actually is Slowbro, who does have a Mega with a massive defense up. But Mega Slowbro is a slightly different role. It's kind of more of either Crowbro or like an all-out offensive tank. But we'll go into regular Slowbro for now. With Regenerator, he has a lot of health every time he switches out, which is really helpful for a wall because he can switch in, kind of straight up. If he can straight up wall the threat, he can switch in, maybe take a little bit of damage, which is just chip damage from either rocks or whatever attack he switched into, come back out, and with that he can just keep coming in. Regenerator's great like that. He forms a really good core with Tornadus T and also a Moongus actually because of that. A Moongus is actually specifically better just because they together form water and grass, and then all you need is maybe a Heatran, and you get a really solid fire, water, grass core. Two of them being Regenerator Pokemon, which makes up for Heatran's kind of crappy recovery. But alright, Slack Off, Scald is popular, Psyshock, Ice. You can go for Ice Beam, you can go for Flamethrower, you could go for Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Fire Blast is pretty good. Fire Blast actually does really help against Ferrothorn, who otherwise really walls Slowbro back. And this is a nice kind of tank set actually. It's a lot closer to a tank set, but you could also kind of make it more like Stally and go Scald, Toxic, Protect or something, or throw an Ice Beam there. And this set will really this is a really hard Pokemon to take out just because that's a really good bulk right there, 394, 350. With Slack Off and Regenerator, he just keeps coming back. So Gliscor is another pretty great physical wall, actually. Not the greatest typing ever, but also not that bad. So you're gonna go obviously Toxic Orb plus Poison Heal and then if you throw in a Protect, that makes him really actually quite just heals up phenomenally. You go maybe Protect, Toxic, Roost. Or you could throw in an Earthquake. He learns Knockoff, Stone Edge, which are both really great moves. He's a potential defogger. You could run Sub-Toxic, maybe replace Roost with Protect, and just really stall out opponents. This set, as long as you're not facing a Pokemon that's immune to poison, so Toxic, so Steel and Poison types, and if you outspeed the Pokemon, Sub-Toxic pretty much guarantees you win, just because, and you can invest in special defense, maybe take a hit, but again, he has pretty great defensive stats, so I think that's what we're talking about in this video. My computer's lagging out like crazy. This is what happens. Yeah, I mean, 383, that's no slouch on the defensive side. These are four of probably the most common physical walls. Garchomp does run physically defensive. Garchomp is kind of a pretty popular thing nowadays. Hippowdon is actually one I also wanted to talk about. Hippowdon just has massive bulk. You throw on a leftovers with that. Plus, I really wish Sandstream actually would help you with it would give the special defense boosts to rock types, to ground types as well. So because that makes Tyranitar kind of maybe a little bulkier. Yeah, decent amount bulkier. But the problem with Tyranitar is it does not have access to this move, which helps Hippowdon really take hits really well. You can run Toxic War. I think this is probably the most standard set. He can do the elemental fangs, I think so. Fire Fang, Ice Fang, those are pretty good. Crunch is a good one. He can be a pretty good Stealth Rocker, so you could replace Toxic with Stealth Rock or something. And honestly, this set is just, with the physically defensive, this is just like so hard to take down. Like that bulk is just off the chain. You can invest a little bit. If I look at one of my newer teams actually, Trying Phase. That's exactly what I've been doing recently. So if you invest into this spread, this is what I'm running on this team. If you invest into this spread right here, it avoids the 2-hit KO from HP Ice from Raikou and Manectric, which is super useful just because it makes him a much better check, and then he can slack off or Toxic slack off and stall him out a little bit. Hippowdon's actually really good and fits really well into, you would assume, the sand teams. Those are probably the 5 most used physical walls in the OU tier. Besides that, I really just don't think there is any. Venusaur, Mega Venusaur is pretty bulky, but Mega Venusaur, I guess we can talk about him too. I never really use him as that role. I want to look at the BLs here, see if there's any physical walls I'm forgetting. Yeah, not really. Zygarde doesn't have access to reliable recovery, which makes it kind of meh. Chestnut is more of a physical tank, actually, than a wall, but again, also a decent option. Fortress is more of a hazard setter and hazard clearer. It has a great physical bulk, but like that's just really not helping him out much. So yeah, yeah, I think that's about it. I guess we could go into Venusaur too. Just give you a defensive Venusaur set. Okay, so Mega Venusaur only has a weakness to flying and Psychic, which is great. We give it obviously Venusaurite, and then Leech Seed Synthesis makes for pretty fantastic recovery. And then I would throw in a Hidden Power Fire just to snipe the Ferrothorns. I want to switch into this set and onto the Leech Seed, and then maybe a Sludge Bomb or a Giga Drain, I guess, in that last slot. But between these two, I don't know how much you really need Giga Drain just because you're already healing so much as you want to. But it's up to you. And then the physically defensive EVs are good. And yeah, this is actually very, very respectable physical bulk again. And then also mixed bulk, because 276 uninvested is like definitely no slouch. And then the special attacks, that 281, like Mega Venusaur is just actually such a tank. I'll definitely be going into more on the tank video. But yeah, those are physical walls. These are probably the 6 most popular physical walls. I would say Ferrothorn is really popular. Slowbro is kind of shifts more over towards defensive pivot, which again will be a video. Gliscor can be more of like a status spreader kind of. Also, most of these Pokemon also learn Stealth Rock. I think actually 4 out of the 6 learn Stealth Rock. So there are a lot of them kind of double up on rules, and I got into that in my utility lead video actually. How a lot of these Pokemon can double up like that. Yeah, so I think that is it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, leave a comment, subscribe. And yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, guys.